What is going on, everyone? It is the guy that everyone loves to hate, your boy, the Crooked Commish. Back at it again here with the Chicago Clubhouse Network. Here with our Bears pregame show, Panthers versus the Bears here. Going to kick off here at 12 Central. So welcome back, everyone. Gather around, grab your Moors here, and let's talk about this Bears versus Panthers game. Right now, I am flying solo. Hopefully later on, the rest of the crew hops in here and we'll get everyone else in. So, but until then, you're with me. So go ahead and hit that like button. Please share as well. You have any other Chicago Bears fans, family members, let them know about our show here. And let's help us grow here. We want to try and get to 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. So hopefully we can get there soon, but we cannot do it without your guys' help. So like I said, please hit that like button and please subscribe to get all your Chicago Clubhouse news here. So what do we have on the agenda today? It's the Bears versus Panthers, or Panthers versus Bears. And this is going to be a game that I guess don't need to win, but we sure would like to win, considering that we still get the Carolina Panthers second round pick as part of the Bryce Young trade, where they have moved on from him already. So, which is unfortunate for us, because I think if he was still playing, obviously our matchup against them today, I would kind of like it a bit more and think we have a bit more likelihood of winning. Andy Dalton has been pretty damn solid, since he's taken over there for the Panthers. The offense is definitely, for Carolina, moving the ball a lot better than it was under Bryce Young. So maybe the game was just the offense didn't fit Bryce Young, and next season he goes on somewhere else and he kind of develops into a better NFL quarterback, but seems like his days are pretty much done over there in Carolina. So, but like I said, we are all too familiar with Andy Dalton. The Red Rifle had his one season here, not even a full season, as we all know. I think he ended up getting hurt week 3 or 4 of his first year with us. And that was the year that we drafted Justin Fields. So, and like I said, I think week 3, Dalton goes out with an injury against the Bengals. And then here comes Justin Fields and takes over from there. And Dalton, that was the end of Dalton's Bears career. So, but like I said, he's making the most of his opportunity here with Carolina. We shouldn't, hopefully Chicago does not overlook them, because they are not going to be an easy win. Like I said, definitely want to beat them to get a better draft pick here in the upcoming draft. So if we can if they have the number 1 pick again this year, the type of pick that we'll get is going to be essentially almost be like a late first round guy. There's a lot of good talent still available in the back end of the first rounds. So there's a lot of guys that end up slipping and falling that none of us really sees at the moment or expects. And hopefully someone, maybe an offensive lineman, slips to us and we can get a better tackle or guard or a center, something to help protect this quarterback. So, but let me know, what do you guys think of Caleb Williams? How has he been for you guys? Do you see the development that we see over here at the clubhouse? So I know we were hoping that he would kind of hit the ground running and would be playing like how Jaden Daniels is playing in Washington. We're hoping that he would look a bit more confident than how he has been. But Is it Caleb and the offense trying to find comfort into this offensive scheme and playbook? Or is it just Shane Waldron's play calling and plays are just bad to begin with? So let me know. Like I said, put it in the comments there what you think is the issue with the offense and what needs to be done to get it moving here to get some more points on the board. So later on as well, I'll be asking for your guys' score predictions. So drop those in the comments as well. I'm sure most of us here will think that the Bears will come out of this game with a victory, and that's what I'm hoping for as well. Come out with a victory here, get on a little win streak here, and then get on that plane to London to go face the Jaguars. So, but let's not look too far ahead, and let's focus on this Bears game here. So my key things in order for the Bears offense to look better and move the ball better is we need, one, our offensive line to gel together more. And I know it's hard to do that when you guys kind of coming in and out with injuries and whatnot, but hopefully we can continue to get the ball into DeAndre Swift's hands, but in open space, out in the flat there. Caleb Williams has been getting better on reading the field and going through his reads. Looking at the game last week, I wanted him, or not to be too greedy, but there was moments where you would see it's like, okay, check it down, and he would eventually get there. He would be like a second or two too late, or I should say too late, because he did get the ball. He does get the ball off. He wasn't taking the sacks, but I was happy that he was making the correct reads and taking the check down and not forcing anything. I was just hoping that he will see that sooner and get the ball to Swift in the flat a bit sooner so he can make a bigger play. I'm liking seeing how Caleb is just kind of taking what the defense is giving him. So the game against the Colts, he kind of forced the issue there. Obviously threw the ball way too damn much. But he learned from his mistakes there. Hopefully he continues to learn there. He didn't force the ball at all. He made a great pass to DJ Moore for their first touchdown pass of the season, their first connection this season, which was great to see. DJ Moore just getting paid, being the number one receiver here, no doubt. I was telling T. Nick, I personally, Crooked Commish wants to see DJ Moore get a bare minimum 8 targets a game. 8 targets bare minimum DJ Moore should be getting. That's the floor. Obviously, more than likely 10, 11 targets would be more ideal, would be better. But his floor should be 8 targets a game, which isn't really that much. That's only 2 targets each quarter. That should be more than doable for sure. But hopefully to get more those kind of looks to keep him involved in the game, to keep him engaged. A lot of the times we see him out on the sideline and DJ Moore just looks so damn frustrated. He looks pissed that they're missing out, like he says in the interviews, not trying to show up my guy at all, but just irritated that we're this close to getting a big time play and just can't connect. So like I feel his frustration, but hopefully they can work that shit out and it all comes together here soon. This would be a great game for them, it to all come together for the offense. We would, as Chicago Bears fans, definitely love to see that, for it to all finally click. So hopefully, like I said, they stop running DeAndre Swift up the middle and continue to give it to Roschon Johnson. He's more of your bruiser type of back, so he's the one that should be able to get those 3 yards, 1 yard at the very least type of guy instead of Swift. But we'll see if what the game plan is today for the Panthers. So give me one moment here, just checking in, seeing if they have the lineup yet, or the injury list up yet, to see who's active and who's not. So I don't see anything quite yet. But so Andy Dalton, like I said, this last game, he may want to try and get some revenge here against the Bears. One moment, guys. Sorry about that, guys. Thank you so much for sticking with us there. But when the dogs need to be let out, they need to be let out. So anyways, yes, Andy Dalton, like I said, since he's taken over for Bryce Young, 5 touchdown passes, only 1 interception, with a 76.2 QBR rating. So, and 539 yards to start off. So, like I said, he's definitely playing a lot better than he ever did in Chicago. Maybe has a bit of a better line than he here with Carolina than he did with Chicago. So, like I said, that's been our issue here the last few years, is our offensive line has just been atrocious. So, but we need our defense to definitely keep the field short for Caleb Williams. The more that they can get when it's only 30 yards to go or 40 yards to go for a touchdown, instead of having him to go 70 yards or 80 yards for a touchdown. Those long drives are just killer for a rookie QB. It gives them more chances for a turnover or to just make a rookie mistake as well. They're still, like I said, we heard from the offensive coordinator, they're still looking for some sort of identity on offense, which going into week 5, you were hoping that you kind of figured out what your identity is and what you feel comfortable doing. Hopefully the game plan is not to have Caleb Williams continue to throw the ball 50 plus times. So I liked what he had last week, where he, I think, had 24 attempts. Like I said, a lot of that was checkdowns, though. I think Swift was our leading receiver with 7 catches last week. So hopefully DJ is the one that gets the volume of those catches, and hopefully Roma Dunze as well gets more involved in the offense as well. So Keenan Allen came back, which was awesome and good to see. I think he was helped Caleb feel a bit more comfortable there. Even though he didn't have a big game, Caleb's looking for him in the end zone there. There was a slant play. The play that got the Bears to the 1 yard line basically came from a pass interference with Keenan Allen going a slant across the middle, to where if he would have caught that, broke a tackle or two, boom, he's in there for a touchdown. So let me go ahead and bring in my other member from the clubhouse, our coach and our chef. So you all know him as Coach Chef. Morning, Chef.
Good morning. How you doing? Good morning.
Good. How are you feeling?
Exhausted right now. Exhausted.
Yeah, late night?
Unfortunately, yes. Had to do some last minute errands last night, so I didn't get into bed till 3 o'clock our time, probably.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think 3 o'clock our time. I don't know. All I know is it was a struggle getting home. I had to help a relative get home and some other things. So yeah, I got home much later than I expected. How you
Okay.
doing?
Good. Not too bad. Just was on a podcast earlier in the day, a fantasy podcast.
Right.
So
How'd that go?
good. Hung out there, answered some questions. Hopefully was able to convert some more Chicago Bears fans that happen to be in their chats and bring them over to our side. So
Of course, the more the merrier. And I say this because I'm legally obligated by Chicago Clubhouse Podcast, and I know Anthony's already, Crooked Commission's already done it. Please like and subscribe. It helps the algorithm, and it doesn't cost anything. It's absolutely free. It's just in my DNA now. I just have to say it every
right.
show. But if you're watching, then you can obviously leave a like.
Yes. So I kind of got into my takes about what was going on with this upcoming game against the Panthers and kind of what would need to happen to kind of make sure Chicago comes out with the win. And one of the main things I was thinking or saying is our defense just needs to continue to give our offense a shortened field. Just let Caleb go 30, 40 yards for a touchdown instead of having to go 70, 80 yards, 75 yards
I
to
mean,
drive the ball.
yeah, I believe that goes without saying. I think that any short field will help any quarterback, especially a young one. Will help any offensive coordinator, especially one that seems to be struggling or having issues in some form or capacity.
Trying to find
Um,
their identity from what they said.
yes, I mean, I think we kind of found an identity last week. Did you review or review any of last week's game? Just
Not
kind
too
of,
much.
as
I just briefly touched on it, kind of what happened, but I didn't get too into it as far as what the good and the bad and all that stuff.
oh,
So go
I
ahead.
mean, so I just think that it's I think it started out a lot rougher, obviously. I think it almost seems like it's the opposite effect than having Shane than having Getsy. Usually the scripted 10, 15 plays seem to go really well, and there was always seemed to be issue transitioning into the game time flow. And it seems to be kind of the opposite right now for Shane, where the games that Caleb looks really good, he doesn't look good that early. I think they did a good job with a lot of shorter passes. I was looking at some numbers that said that his passing rating is 99%, with passes under 10 yards, a lot of check downs, a lot of short stuff, which was supposed to be obviously his go-to. And then intermediate, he's really well. And then vertical, obviously, he's been struggling severely. He might be one of the worst passers as far as balls. Or did he? In the air. Over 10,
Wow.
over.
Pause.
Yeah, you're right. Over 15 yards. So I think the stat. I always thought the stat was passing yards over 20 yards, but I think it's over 15 is the statistical thing when they consider a deep ball anything that travels in the air with 15 yards. But with a lot of check downs and the running game kind of looking better. Well, no, that's not kind of. It actually looked better. The game plan last week seemed to get better over time. I know there's still a lot of adjustments. He threw for less than 170 yards last week. The defense obviously showed up and played as we expect them to play. Some hiccups because they're kind of like that old school bend but don't break, allowing clearly field goals for the Rams, getting turnovers. We got two turnovers, pick late, and then we had a fumble sack earlier.
Sweat.
Yeah, so that's always obviously the benefit. Excuse me for the I'm still kind of collecting myself. Like my alarm went off and I just it's a struggle. It felt like I was getting ready for work or school. I was like, I don't want to get up now. And taking advantage of the fact that we didn't take advantage of the Colts, who obviously won with Gardner Minshew the last week too. So it's not like the Colts were complete. I mean, it's still the NFL. I always say that. It's still the NFL. I'm sorry. I'm also looking up a box score. I didn't make any notes because I didn't get a chance to because I was struggling getting home last night. No passing touchdowns.
Well, I'm happy you just got home safe. So
yes, I appreciate it. Kyron Williams put almost 100 yards together on less than 20 carries. They didn't really have any receivers. We let Tutu Atwell kind of get at it. He's a big play guy, but he hasn't gotten off. I think he's gotten more yards this game than he's collectively got the first 3 weeks. So it is that technical. I know even JJ said something about it this week in press conferences about, he doesn't think the defense has played up to their standard as of yet. I would agree, although I think they've played well. I don't think we've just seen a complete game where our defense shuts a team down to under 14 points.
So teams are still getting yards on us. Like they're still moving the ball down the field. It just tightens up once we get around the goal line. That's when we kind of either hold them to a field goal or so far have been getting a turnover. What needs to happen, I understand what he's talking about on the defense, because on the defense, what you would really like to do is have a few 3-and-outs. And I haven't seen really any, maybe 1 3-and-out from them. Just to get back on the bench. I mean, they really haven't, our defense, like I said, maybe 1 or 2, like I said, throughout the season, because they've been giving up first downs. They let them move the ball up the field. But the 3-and-outs to get you off the field and put the ball back in the hands of Caleb and your offense and stuff, give them more opportunities to kind of be on the field to score, figure out the offense, tinker with it. I do agree with what you said here with this offensive scheme, to where they come out the gate slow and then they eventually kind of figure out a few plays or schemes that work to where they can kind of move the ball down the field and get themselves in scoring range, compared to last year where Getsy, it's like you said, we have these first 10 plays, and then once those are done and we look good, the defense adjusts, and then we have no answers after that. But
definitely struggle with answers.
Yeah. But Waldron, like I said, hopefully they can hit the ground running. Like I said, it seems like they are just barely off with those deep balls and stuff, and just connecting with
most definitely. I know we had a minor disagreement, me, you, and Mr. Chicago. For those who know Mr. Chicago, shout out to the Tuesday group on Chicago Clubhouse show on Tuesday evenings. Both of you thought that DJ slowed down on the route, and I was convinced, based on my prior experiences and how it looked, that the ball was not thrown in the correct spot. And there was some confirmation kind of on the agreements. What I thought is that, so for those who don't know, DJ was missed on a pass where he beat the DB on the inside move, and then he kind of went back to the sideline where the hash marks are. Back to the mid to bottom of the numbers, or the bottom of the numbers in the NFL. And the ball was thrown. I said it was thrown out in front, and you all said that he looked like he slowed down. But if you look at the replay, he doesn't slow. It's just the ball's in a different spot than he is. And both agreed that, I think Caleb said he thought that since DJ beat the DB inside, that he was going to stay inside leverage. That's why the ball was so far in front. Trajectory. That's why I use these technical terms for passing, because it changes where you're running and where the ball is thrown always changes based on the position of where you're at. And DJ ended up going back outside leverage after he beat him inside, which threw off the complete trajectory. So DJ agreed that it was miscommunication on his part, and he took brunt of it, which makes it look like he slowed down because the ball you're thinking, but he's leading for the ball. So
yeah,
what we're looking for obviously is their continued communication off the field on like, hey, if I beat a guy, like, I guess as a quarterback, he's like, well, if you beat the guy inside and there's no safety, you need to stay inside. And he's thinking, well, shoot, if I beat the guy inside, I'm going back to where I'm supposed to be. So maybe he was supposed to be outside fade, but based on technique and how the DB played, he kind of just worked him a little different. So those are just things they're still working out. I know that some people were concerned about that. Like, are they not on the same page? Is that a concern? I kind of had a moment of that, but then I remembered because I'm doing better. I've done better in the past decade plus of being very analytical or very logical about my football knowledge. And what I think is it even took Justin and DJ a few weeks to get kind of on the same page, because the first, like, I remember last year they lost to the Bucks and DJ did not have a great game, but it was kind of like he didn't get a lot of targets. And there was a sound bite from the game where somebody on the Bucks was like, man, they got to get you the ball. And he's like, yeah, I know. He's saying it. I mean, he's a receiver, so every receiver believes they're open. But when you know that you can help based on the fact that, hey, if you guys get me the ball so I can do what I do, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help the team get better.
Right.
And someone said in the comments from another show that I was watching or video I was watching about it took to about week 5 for DJ and Justin to get on the same page. So it's week 5 now. He is a rookie. Their first time
together. That was that Washington game too, I think, where he ended up blowing up for 3 touchdowns.
Right. So things like that we're looking for to be cleaned up more from DJ and Caleb. We all believe DJ is the number 1 receiver. I know I do. And I think that we saw Cole Kmet kind of get off a little bit 2 weeks ago in a loss, but he had a big game, and even Roma Dunze had 100 yards, and then last week he only had 1. But the game plan changed, or should it be adjusted based on what you're doing? And running was very successful last week, so you want to keep that going. This team is not good versus the pass either. Versus the run as well. So those are just things you want to, consistently clean up to get better, because you don't want to lean too much on the defense, because they're still human beings. They get tired being on the field for long drives. So you want a short field from the defense. Obviously, you want to sustain longer drives from the offense. So if those start to come together, obviously you think that the Bears will look better offensively and defensively. I know special teams looked outstanding. Torrey Taylor had 2 big punts in the second half. I think he was averaging 55 a punt, which was crazy. That's like
something like that. Yeah.
Some video game types things. But that's what I kind of saw last week. I still haven't gotten my all 22, which is okay. But let's see. I'm trying to find something last week that the hits were, the hurries and the hits were down too. The offensive line seemed to play better, even though Tevin got hurt in the first half. Based on some stats here, Caleb was blitzed 9 times. He was hurried twice. He only was hit 1 time. Really? Huh. That's a little surprising.
Right. Yeah. I know some of those. I know some of those interceptions, those sacks, like 2 or 3 sacks got taken away because of defensive holding on the Rams. To where, right. So, but going back to DJ real quick before we move on, it was encouraging to see it, even though like I said, they had that miscommunication. They didn't connect on that pass. The very next drive was the drive where they did hook up, and he threw that touchdown pass to DJ at the back of the end zone there, in the middle field, which was a great throw. It was right over the linebacker as well. I mean, it's not like the linebacker had some decent coverage on DJ, and he just put it in the correct spot there. So it was good to see that they went to the sideline, talked it over. Next drive, they connected for that touchdown and whatnot. So, but hopefully as well, like our defense, Dexter definitely can continue to grow and continue to get pressure up the middle as well, to kind of take some of the load off of Sweat. I know Taylor's been decent. Between Taylor and Walker, I think Taylor's been the more definitely active guy. Walker's just getting the more pressures, I think, but Taylor's getting more, been able to get to the quarterback, I think, more than Taylor has at all. I'm sorry, Walker.
Yeah, Walker's been more consistent. Taylor did have that really big first week. He's kind of looked a little bit invisible the past 3. I know he flashed. I don't remember Taylor flashing last week. I know he flashed kind of in the Houston game, but that was week 2. But in the past 2 weeks, I don't think I've really seen him like, hey, there's that Taylor guy. I know Walker's been kind of consistent, but not getting home. Swift, not going to lie, I know we expect him to get double teamed, but he hadn't really shown up as far as even quarterback hits until last week. There's been some sightings of him, but nothing that kind of actually stands out from the naked eye. Just wanted to point out, so far, every receiver on the Bears is averaging under 10 yards of reception, except for Roma Dunze. DJ's at 8.6, Komet's at 9, Keenan Allen's at 6.9. Holy crap. So the short passes are obviously the thing that's winning now. But obviously you want to hope they get on track. But it just goes back to the thing I was saying, is that we were sold, not that when I'm not agreeing, just things about Caleb. We were definitely big on the fact that his accuracy, intermediate and short, was amazing. But then again, who we had whose accuracy was really good under 10 yards? A guy named Mitch Trubisky. And I said it from the moment he got drafted, is that he has one of the worst deep balls I've ever seen. And it looked as bad in the pros as it did in college. Yeah. There's no consistency if you're not hitting deep balls. He was horrible at deep balls. Actually, he was rated one of the worst quarterbacks for his entire tenure here, out of 32 quarterbacks with the balls in the air over a longer distance, 15 to 20 yards. And then the opposite was the case for JF1, now JF2, is that he was outstanding with his vertical passing game, but it was his intermediate game that struggled accuracy-wise, and his quick game that the balls seemed to not come out as fast. No, did he? I'm sorry now. That's like, pause. I'm not even going to say it.
You did it again.
It's awkward. This is a generational thing. So with Caleb, we were sold on his accuracy at all 3 levels, because it was said to be accurate at all 3 levels. He was extremely accurate short. He get the balls out. He has a quick release. He's outstanding intermediate, and then vertically, and he struggled vertically. But I think this is just another part of his growth and the offensive game growing a little more. So I expect for them to come out versus Carolina, throwing some quicker passes, getting the ball out of his hands, getting the guys to hopefully get some more run after catch. So especially if his accuracy is going to be up there, get the ball to where the guys can catch it, make a move, and get better yards after catch to increase the yards per average. And then
like what happened with
the running game. Yes, Swift had one of those games that we expected him to have as a Bear. I know me and you talked about it last night. We wanted him to be that dual threat running back, and not just dual threat like a Montgomery where he can pass, but the fact that his run after catches was the thing that people were like, well, he's not a run between the tackles guy. That may be true, but the thing that what is about Swift that people, I think some don't understand, is that he's a one-cut running back. He's, that zone read. Like, are we running the outside zone where he could put his foot in the ground and get vertical and not go wide? But if you're not blocking it and he's trying to stretch out runs, it's NFL. You can't beat everyone to the corner. So no matter how fast you are. So just further growth from this offense is obviously something we as Bears fans want to see. I know we all could agree on that, most definitely. And also, the one issue that I'm still having is creativity from play calling as far as personnel packages. I think that I've had an issue with it for several years with Nagy, and then with Getsy, is creativity. You have this talent. Now, of course, you have way more talent. roster than you did the previous rosters. But why aren't we seeing more matchups with different packages? Like you have 3 running backs who are extremely capable. Why aren't we seeing them? Where's Corey Blasingame? I did like seeing Kramer at fullback in the goal line package. Like
the mini
that's,
fridge.
Yeah, like it's not these, like, you use the talent you have the best you can. I said it last night.
Tools in the toolbox.
I don't have a problem with Kramer being a fullback. He's a 300-pound man who wants to see him with a full head of steam coming down in the A or B gap. No one wants to see that.
People are going to make business decisions.
You damn right they are. And this Panthers team coming up does not have a formidable linebacker core. They don't have much on defense in the first 2. They have some pieces, but they've got rid of most of their super talented pieces. But why that's crap.
Well, we thought that against the Colts as well when we were like, oh, they're hurt on defense, and then
creativity.
Their guys showed up. Before we get more into it, let's go ahead and pay some bills real quick, and then I wanted to show you something about Waldron's offense, what he's doing here, and then with Seattle real quick. So let's pay some bills, and we'll be right back.
I'm trying to be king. You crazy. I'm real. King of what?
Okay, bow down. Let the trumpet sound. Roll out the red carpet. 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 Roll out the red carpet.
Welcome back to the clubhouse, guys. It is the Crooked Commish here. We're going to go ahead and continue to break down this game. Coach Chef is using the restroom, and he'll be right back with us. So let us know, guys, who do you think will win today? Go ahead and start dropping your score predictions or what you think it's going to take the Bears to win today. So let us know. And the myth, the man, the legend is back. So Coach Chef, this is what I wanted to show you here. I remember at the beginning of the season when we were hearing some reports where some Chicago media people were talking to Jackson Smith about what he thought of Shane's offense and his offensive scheme. Tell me if this looks familiar at all. So that was with Waldron there, a game against San Francisco. DJ Moore with St. Waldron last year or last week. This is Jackson's route tree here. Now without Shane. That's what DJ's route tree looked like before Shane. So like you said about the creativity, not too much there.
So, okay. So that's okay. So I'm not, so was there something in the interview that Jackson Smith Jigba said about his route tree or anything like that? What did he say?
He was, they talked to him once, I think they were interviewing him at some point, and they were like, hey, we just hired your offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron, and stuff. Can you kind of give us any insight? Like, what did you think of him and stuff? And he was just like, he was kind of like, oh, you guys hired Shane. He's like, you guys have fun with that. Like, he didn't have very many. He didn't have an encouraging thing of like, yeah, Shane's very creative or like this and that. He does, he was just kind of like, we weren't too impressed or thrilled with him here, or didn't. I didn't personally like him. So go ahead.
I would say I would take like most things, I think you should take them with a grain of salt, but I would put more stock into the other receivers, the seasoned receivers. Like, what did the guy like Lockett say with him? They had him for 3 years. What did a guy like DK Metcalf say? Because Njigba was a rookie last year, so you would expect his route tree to be something minimal. He dealt with injuries as well as he was the slot last year. So what I just saw was some curls, a lot of slot fades. I'm getting to that. So DJ was the supreme number one receiver last year. There was no one talent-wise or production-wise who matched up to DJ's talent and ability. So him being moved around was something that needed to happen. I would also say I would like to see his chart his first 5 weeks compared to the chart the rest of the year. I mean, kind of seeing the full picture here. So I think what I see from DJ is I would like to see more slants. The slot fade is something that's really big. That's something that the other rookie for the Commanders thrives at throwing. He's thrown a lot of them actually because he threw a lot of them at LSU. Yes, and Jalen his vertical passing, especially from the slot fade, is something that has not dropped off, not one bit. Oh crap! I forgot there's a goddamn game in London. See, Mountain Standard Time. Oh my goodness
I've
gracious!
been watching it this whole morning.
Holy
started at
hell!
6:30.
Get the living fuck out of here!
17
Aaron
to
Rodgers, Aaron out here. Oh my goodness!
He's getting back on the field. Put me in, coach.
But so I think that's just one of those other things that it's the growth of the offense. Definitely would like to see them move around a lot more. I think that the slot receiver really has been Keenan Allen based on his yards per catch, also his yards per reception, a lot of quick outs, a lot of option routes, nothing vertical from him. No one's catching any vertical passes because I think the only person, like I said, who's averaging even double-digit yards per catch is Romadunze, and that predominantly came in week 2 because he had 100 yards that game. No other receivers had a 100-yard game outside of Romadunze this season. So, offensively speaking, it's the more progressive. You just want to see more progression, play calling, creativity, using the pieces that you have. I'm sick of seeing 5 wideouts when you have all these tight ends. I'm sick of seeing 5 wideouts when you have 3 capable running backs. I want to see some more 12 personnel. Like, I'm not saying we got to go 3 yards in a cloud of dust, but you have to give defenses something that they don't want to see. And because he comes from a quote unquote, is Waldron a Shanahan disciple, or is he Shanahan, or is he a disciple of McVay? Is he McVay? But although technically McVay had spent some time with who? The Shanahans. So I mean, like I've said this numerous times, you have to develop your own identity and play calling, but you get these quarterback these play callers who come from other or spend time with other coaching staffs and other philosophies. So you hope that they're picking up things. But zone is one thing, play action is one thing. That's big in those offenses that are very successful. But running the ball is really successful. And if you throw a lot of personnel packages at defenses and you make things look one way and you deceive them by making them look another way, that's how you open guys up for deep passes, or you get your tight end. Like, I haven't seen any of that in 4 weeks from the Bears. Like, you see some of these better offenses, and somehow there's always a defensive breakdown from the defensive team because you're throwing so much at them that they can't keep up with everybody. We always say, how does a guy like that, like we watched some college football yesterday. I got to watch a lot of college football because I didn't go to work yesterday. You see it all the time in college football where there's always some guy who has separation 5, 7, 10 wide, because it's college. There's going to be a lot of breakdowns in college. Not everyone can play man-to-man defense. College, defenses and their ability, because not everyone's going to play on Sundays. But in the NFL, we see it every week. Everyone who's ever watched college NFL football is like, anytime you see a guy who catches the ball and there's no one within a 3-yard buffer, you're like, how the hell is he that wide open? And that's because guys get schemed open. Yes, there's defensive breakdowns, but defensive breakdowns, when it's not communication, comes from defenses being confused because there's crossers, or they ran a play and it looked the same, and then a guy gets lost because they ran a different. They play action them, so that you run the ball 5 times out of formation, and you come back with 2 tight ends, and you sneak a tight end out the back door. If anyone who's watched any type of San Francisco, any type of Rams when they had the talent, but San Francisco, Washington, even now, the Saints got a guy who the Bears interviewed, Kubiak's son, but we didn't want same
Dole, the offensive scheme.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The adjective.
Very, 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 very. All of those things, all of those adjectives are exactly what we're seeing. But you don't see that from the Bears offense. You don't even see it from the play calling. You saw a bit of it, but like I said it last year when we had just a starting Rome in fantasy today. I don't know. All 3 receivers are healthy. I don't know how that's going to go.
You're hoping it's a shootout or a scoring fest there. But go ahead.
Yeah. But the thing that I want to see is I want to see more of this talent. That you don't have to put 5 receivers on the field to get everyone on the field. Caleb has to be more accurate hitting his receivers too. Yeah. Now, I've said this. He has to be more accurate vertically because he's hitting them.
Yeah.
His passer rating from 0 to 9 and from 10 to like 10 to 15, 10 to 17. It's been off.
Yeah.
Those have been. It's the vertical passing. It's anything with throwing the ball over 15 yards. Yeah, past 15 yards has been atrocious. Essentially, I think he's like 2 for 15 or something like that. So more creativity. Obviously, I sound like a broken record. Sound like things we said for the past several years. More like I want to see Roschon and Swift in the backfield together. I want to see some full house. I want to see some multiple tight ends. I want to see a lot of tighter formations that expand. Now, of course, you're going to need more time for the offensive line, but why not run out of these packages? I don't want to see any more Carter running in the slot, blocking on fucking goal line. Like we saw
tight
that
end screens.
First. If I see another tight end screen, I think I'm going to slip my goddamn wrist. Just it's like that's how you feel as a fan. Where our vertical tight end who was brought here, who people like, oh, he's
Gerald
more
Everett
athletic.
Shit.
Look, you know what? Foulmouth and JB on Tuesday complained so much about Cole Kmet and his run after catch. Well, guess what? The guy who's supposed to be the speed tight end, this motherfucker don't even average 5 yards a catch. So I'm not blaming Everett, but I'm blaming the fact that the play calling is so unimaginative. It's dull. Excuse me. Let's use a simpler word with less syllables. It's dull. The route tree is dull. The play calling is dull. I know you got to get the ball out quick as your quarterback, but where's the tight end seam? Where's the quick pop? Like we see a lot of out-breaking routes and screens, which are annoying. Even I've said it many times. Swift is a great correction. He's a very good, very much above average route runner out of the backfield. He can run routes out of the slot and even wide. He can also run things like angle routes or throwing the ball 3 for 17. Thank you, Frank. That's exactly the stat. But you have a running back who can run angle routes. We see different offenses. I know you've seen guys run angle routes where you're running toward the sideline and you cut back in between the linebackers. All we see from Swift is swing route, flat route, screen. Swing route, swing route, which is pretty much a dump off. Check swing, where you block, you fake, you block 1 1000, 2 1000, 3, then you get to the flat. I haven't seen any vertical route running from anybody in the backfield. I want to see more packages. This is the NFL. This isn't high school football where you have 5-6 packages. And I know he's a rookie. I get it. But you can simplistically put small packages in the game and expand from those packages to your standard packages. That's why it's the NFL.
I want to see more motion in the backfield pre-snap.
Oh, my God.
And moving receivers, put DJ Moore in the running back, start him off at receiver, move him to running back, just move shit around and confuse the defense as well. That's part of what you're saying is like, man, it's you're doing the defense a big favor by keeping it very plain and vanilla for them. You're not having.
There's nothing a defense wants to see more than guys not move pre-snap and give you exactly what you're saying. You're not going to move anybody. You're not going to make us think. I bet $500 a fake punter throw for a touchdown. Okay. I hope if you win that, make sure you screenshot it and post it on our Facebook page and our
She said she'd
all
pay
the
you
media
$5
for.
to see it. So you want to see Tory Taylor throw a touchdown?
So
That's
I know we've talked a lot about the struggles. I want to talk some positiveness about the Bears and their upcoming game. Since
before we get to our predictions.
Yeah. So you have Andy Dalton, who's made the offense look much better. He has 5 touchdown passes the last 2 games. He's thrown for 500 yards the last 2 games. So let's not act like Andy Dalton. We should clearly beat him because Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton is a seasoned veteran. He gets the ball out. He knows what he sees. You can't fool him with simplicity. So you're going to have to throw some complex things in, which you're probably not going to get a lot of complex from this defense, but you got to get to the passer. Chuba Hubbard's had 200-yard games, although he only has 290 yards this season, so they've decided to run the ball more. They have a very young
coming along.
Yeah, they have a young receiving
Xavier
group,
Legette.
but Xavier Legette's the rookie. Jonathan Mingo is a second-year player. Adam Thielen is out right now, but they do have a veteran, Deontay Johnson, who is I want to say a previous 1,000-yard receiver with Pittsburgh. Yeah, he's had a season of 1,000. He had a season with 900. Oh crap! I didn't know that. I'm sorry. I'm looking at in reverse. So his last 4 seasons with Pittsburgh: 700, 800, 1,000, 900. So before Pittsburgh last year had their quarterback issues, he was putting up yards, although he was averaging 10 yards a catch. But he's putting up yardage, and he's kind of back on path right now with Carolina. So it's another team that it's the NFL. So if you give guys chances, people are going to take advantage. You got to stop the run, obviously. You got to obviously put much pressure on Andy Dalton. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. I was just going to say real quick, we had a very familiar thing happen to us last year. We said the same thing with Joe Flacco with the Browns, where people were like, oh, yeah, we should be able to beat the Browns. They got Joe Flacco. And like you were saying, it's like, no, like he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Like he's a very experienced.
If you give them chances.
Just like with Dalton, he's seen a lot of defensive schemes.
He's seen everything. 200+ starts in the NFL.
Correct.
He's gone to the playoffs. If you give a veteran quarterback chances, last year versus the Browns, didn't Flacco throw like 3 picks?
And then 3 touchdowns at the end, yeah.
And then and if you watch that game again, he didn't flinch. He never got rattled. He didn't, I'm not going to take my chances. No, he was slanging that thing around the goddamn field because that's what you do as a veteran. You don't let the interceptions and turnovers shell shock you into being conservative. You're like, look, I'm a vet. I made some mistakes. We're going to slang that thing until we get this dub. And that's what the Browns did. Didn't help with some defensive play calling by Nagy later in that game. I think that was when Nagy had started taking up a play calling, dropping a defensive lineman who had never dropped into coverage before, stuff of that nature. But defensively speaking, for the Panthers, they have a cumulative of 5 sacks this season, 5 sacks in 4 games. So they're averaging practically a sack a game. But they don't have anybody else. They still have Shaq Thompson. He's an outstanding linebacker. They've got Josie Jewell. He's more of a box linebacker. Trying to think of any names. J.C. Horn, the DB, plays for them. He stands out quite a bit. You got Jadeveon Clowney, but I think he's on the kind of the downside of his illustrious, very solid career. QB hits. No one on the team has more than 5. What does that comment say?
Love to see more of those surprise, safe nicer nickel blitzes, but I want to see the linebackers staying put. Can't show our blitzes so easily.
True. I would agree with that partially. I don't think that we blitz a lot to begin with, just because the nature of the cover 2 defense. He's not going to blitz a lot. He does blitz the nickel a lot. He blitzes the safety a lot. Those are things that you got a outstanding nickel in Kyler Gordon. You have Brisker, who had one of the best games he's ever had as a pro. He seems to be healthy, quote unquote, knock on wood, as most would say. Panthers have only forced 1 fumble this year. 1 forced fumble this year in 4 games. How many picks do they have? They've got 3 interceptions: Xavier Woods, Michael Jackson, and J.C. Horn, the young cornerback. So you got to put these guys on edge. You got to pressure the defense. So yeah, since we didn't have enough time to go into detail about it, I think obviously this is a very winnable game. Every game is winnable, but the Bears are favored in the game for a reason.
For real. Like I was saying, like it's more important for us for sure to beat them to get a better draft pick as well. So it's
that too.
We want them to have the number 1 pick again to essentially give us a late first round pick. I mean, having the first pick in the second round is more or less a late first round pick and stuff. There's a lot of talented players that still end up dropping and falling out of the first round. So, but let's guys, we're getting towards the end of the show. Those that are in the comment sections, start dropping your score predictions. Who do you think is going to win today? Is it going to be the Bears? And if it is, by what score? So, Chef, what do you think the final results will be of tonight's or today's game here?
So I want to bring this back to the show. I know we talked about it. So today the Bears are -4.5. Most home teams get 3 points. They're getting 4.5. They are a -194. The over-under is 40.5. So in perspective, if you took the Bears, which I would take, I don't think the game with the Bears win, they're going to win by more than 4 points. That's what you're betting on, obviously. Let's just go for 10. $10 will get you $9.80. So you got to obviously bet more to win more. But if I was a betting man, which I am occasionally, I would definitely take the Bears plus 4.5. I definitely would. So that's the spread. I would take the money line, and I probably would go the over. Since the Panthers have been scoring points and the Bears,
What is over?
The over is 40.5. 40.5.
Okay.
Over under. So I would take all of those. The money line, which obviously for those who have not betted, but those who are betting experience, means that straight up, the money line is taking them without point spread. They're minus 194. So they are the favorite today. $25 on taking 25 bucks won't get you anything because the game is still close. So you're going to have to put some money up on the Bears if you're taking the money line, the spread, or the over-under to actually win a significant amount. But I would say go for some prop bets. Some prop bets I would go for would be like rushing yards for Swift, receiving yards, pick a receiver of your liking. Hopefully one of them gets off. I would, if you're the betting and the parlay type, I would definitely toggle with choosing the over-unders on production. Who do I think what Frank said, he thinks Rome will get off, so maybe you check out Rome and see what his over-under is for yardage today. I would pick an anytime touchdown Crooked Commish.
Anytime touchdown from DJ. I mean, he got one last week.
Back-to-back weeks?
Yeah, I mean, we said last year it took him about 5 weeks before he really started to kind of get targeted and see a lot of love. So, let's go with DJ back-to-back weeks with the anytime touchdown and stuff.
I'm going to go anytime touchdown.
I'm hoping he could do a jet sweep too. I mean, if they do something like that where they hand them the ball, that's why I like that kind of. I think
Cole and or Keenan Allen to do. So I think I might jump on a parlay with Keenan Allen and do one with Cole Kmet. I think those they're buying for a touchdown this week. With those are quote unquote betting lines, like I said. So the Bears are minus 4.5. I would definitely take the 4.5 with the Bears. I would definitely take the straight up 194 on the money line, and I would bet the over because I think both teams are capable of putting together more than 17 points a game. I mean, obviously 20 apiece will get you obviously the over. 27-17. D shows up, big game today. Taylor.
She's got Tory Taylor.
Oh,
she's got Tory
Taylor. Okay. Yeah. I mean,
I'd love to see it. That'd be cool.
Hey, on your. I was gonna say find your local bookie, but since betting's legal, they throw that in there for a parlay.
That's got to be some crazy odds for that to hit. If
we're asking for a score, I'd say I think today the Bears can get to 30.
Okay.
So I'm going to say 31, 31-21.
Okay. That's
31-21. 31-21.
Close to
I
what I
think
was kind of thinking. Let's see, Logan, Bears 34, Carolina -2. I'm not sure how we get to the negative parts, but I like that score. I'll take that score as well.
Wait. Is that who I think it is? Is that Frank the Tank's son?
Yeah.
I thought so. Okay.
Yeah.
I saw the
And
jujitsu.
then here, his daughter, Bears 74, Pant Hugs 0.
I would
Gotta
love
always
for
love
that
those
to be
good
the
scores.
score. I would love for that to be the score. I really would.
I was thinking score wise, what's calling out to me, and I came close last week. Last week I was off by, I said 24-17, and it ended up being 24-18. So I'm thinking.
I mean, I wouldn't even call that close. I would call that spot on. Getting scores exactly 100%. Like if you're within 2 or 3 points either way, I count that as being, yeah, that's a dub. It's not like saying 31-21 and then the score is 17-10. There's a huge difference there, sir.
What I'm feeling here as well, I'm feeling a 27-20 victory, Bears victory. So defense still is going to give up some points. I think Dalton, like I said, he's a veteran QB. He's gonna get in the end zone somehow, some way. Like I said, we're still giving up yards. So once they get in the red zone, they do tend to find that end zone at least once or twice.
Right. Dalton is very accurate. I would say he might throw a couple picks as well. I think you can get to him. And
he's not playing the drinking game this week. It was too easy last week.
Oh, the prediction game? It is.
Yes.
And here's the thing with the drinking game, because I was at a bar, so I definitely didn't want to play it with shots. So I bought a shot, and then every play I predicted, I took a sip. Because I was like, I'll be here. I'm about to spend $200-300 in this place, and I don't have that type of money, unfortunately. No, play the drinking game again. You got to do it before the snap of the ball. You got to pick the type of play. You can't just say run. It can't just be like run pass. That's too easy. You've got to predict a play like screen.
To the left or whatever.
Yeah, you got to be a little more precise with your play calling,
right,
because there were a couple times I was like, "This is going to be a short pass to the left," and I was like, "Short pass to the left. I guess I'll take a shot." Like, you got to make it a little more exciting than just run pass. Run pass is 50-50. It's like betting black and red at the roulette. That's a little too easy. You got to be a little more predict, and also it shows what a defense may be thinking. Like if you're calling a defensive play call versus offense, and you can predict, hey, they're in this formation. I've seen it on tape. I predict this. You're going to beat them to the punch. Even execution does matter, but these are professionals. So if you're going to beat someone to the punch by knowing the play call, old school Ray Lewis or Luke Kuechly, who seem to be in the backfield all the goddamn time, then what do you think we as novice fans are thinking? So yeah, but I still take Bears 31-21. I think we have a big game. We get some turnovers. We get some short fields. Maybe we get the defense to score a touchdown or something. Hopefully, Torrey Taylor, who is been getting better as a rookie, maybe we don't see him so much. And we get to Andy Dalton in the second half. I think what we'll probably see is maybe one touchdown in the first half, and maybe Panthers get some late touchdowns to kind of make it look more respectable. But that's kind of how I see the game today going. So 31-21 for me. Definitely going to take. No, I'm not, because ain't no money in it. You have to put too much money on to win some money. But if you're new to betting and you want to give a shout out at thinking about betting on the spread, remember, if it's a minus, that means the team is the favorite. If it's plus, that means the team is the underdog. So if you thought today's game is going to be closer, you would want to take if you think the game is going to be closer, you would take the Bears plus 4.5, because you think that the Bears are going to win, but the game's going to be under 4.5. Or if the Panthers win, you would actually win the spread on that one. So those who are novices, we're going to bring that back every week. We're going to bring back the point spread, the money line, and the over under.
All right. Well, with that all being said, is there any final last words we want to say out to our to our fine people before we log off here or anything? Any last?
Yes, there is. You know it is. One, thank you for viewing with us this early ass morning. It is 9:00 Mountain Standard Time.
Next week is going to be earlier, y'all. We have the
holy
London game at
fucking
6:30.
shit.
Let's see who's going to be at the pregame show here.
Oh,
Over here with us here, Chef. I don't know. Hopefully you can wake up. You had a hard time waking up today. Hopefully you can wake up for the London pregame.
I'm going straight to bed after work. I was up running errands and late night errands, getting family members to their homes and driving around Phoenix. But yes. So remember, if you're viewing now, please hit the like button. It doesn't cost you a thing, but it does help us out. It helps the algorithm. Tell your friends and family, tell Bears fans to tune in with us. Remember, we're not just a one-stop podcast. We have multiple shows on Monday. Monday, tomorrow, the Crooked Commish and the Monday Fantasy Football Show. Tune in tomorrow, get his insight. Hey, I know we kind of tight. The Bears game starts in about 55 minutes. Do you have any big time sits or starts for today for those who play fantasy football?
Yes.
Or daily fantasy?
Yeah. Daily fantasy, I'm not too familiar with.
Okay.
But on TikTok, I did post every week. I do post some of my recommended running backs to start sit, and then some of my receivers to start sit and flex. So just real quick. On my running backs, let me pull this up real quick. I had Chuba Hubbard as a start today just because of the Bears. We do tend to give up yards, so I think he will have a decent day, and he may get a touchdown run in there as well. So I had him as a start. I had Zach Moss as a sit today. I think Chase Brown is starting to take over that backfield in Cincinnati. So especially if it's not a PPR league that you're in, I would recommend sitting Zach Moss. I had, and I may regret this, but Swift as a play today just because of how bad Carolina's defense is. I think if he can continue to get the dink and dunk passes from Caleb and be a factor in the passing game, he will be a good solid play in a PPR matchup. Rico Dow, I did not like today. I don't like his matchup against Pittsburgh. And then my last good play was James Conner against San Francisco. I know they have a tough defense, but division games are always tricky. And James Conner has been solid this season and has recently had some good games against the 49ers. So hopefully that continues to go on. So those are just some of them. To get my receivers one, please go to TikTok at the Crooked Commish and check out which receivers I recommend to start sit this week. So, but yes, we have our main show on Tuesdays as well with our group.
Our big squad, Frank the Tank. Thanks, Frank, and the kiddies for joining us, as well as BJ. JB, John Bowles. Excuse me. Oh wow, still too goddamn early. And Foul Mouth, and they probably most likely will have a guest. Don't forget to also tune with us on Friday for Easy Does It. I believe hopefully he'll have a show this Friday. And look for more from us at Chicago Clubhouse Network on content. We're here. You can go to Facebook to get at us. You can go to the Chicago Clubhouse Network on Facebook, X, which formerly known as Twitter, for those who are technically are not sound as far as technology, and on TikTok. Check out Crooked Mish on his starts and sits on TikTok. I'm thinking about getting one to add to the football, but I don't know. Ain't a TikTok person. I don't know.
But yeah, that's the only reason I got it was for the show.
And then tune in obviously next week for us. It's going to be early. So what time is the game? So you know the Mountains time for the game, right?
So
what time is the
Arizona time? It's just like today. This game 6:30 is the start time.
Okay, 6:30. So if you're in Central, that means 8:30. If you're East Coast, it's 9:30. So it's 9:30 Eastern. That's what I'm used to. And then you take an hour off of Central, so it's 8. So Mountain, or whatever they call this time, is 6:30. So we should be going on the air
5:30.
What time? Sure. 5:30.
You know, because I mean, 4:30 seems a little too goddamn ridiculous.
You goddamn right it does. You goddamn right it does. Holy fuck. Goddamn.
To try and get on and do this pregame show. So we'll do a 5:30 hour before tip off here.
Goddamn have crusties in my eyes when we go on next week. Be like,
yeah.
Holy hell.
Jeff's still going to come under the show with his nightcap on, the old school nightcap.
I mean, damn near. I just need the little closing end on it with my hair. So,
so
you never know.
Hopefully.
But yeah, thank you for tuning in.
Yes, thank you.
Tell your local Bears fans we're here every week. We want to get those views back up. Please comment and subscribe. Please subscribe. Look, can't say it enough. It doesn't take much. In fact, I'm using my other phone to like the show on YouTube right now because it doesn't take much to like. Okay. Those who are familiar with social media know that we are driven by the likes that we get. And if you watch this longer, why would you watch us if you're not going to like the show? It doesn't make any sense. So just drop a like. I'm liking you right now. Now I got the double playing. So right now we have 2 likes. I'm the third like. I'm the third of 5 likes. There you go. We jumped up that fast. We have 5 likes on YouTube. Please tune in with us. I know we're about to get off because we apparently have 1 watching. So yeah, let's get off.
So yes. And then Chef, will I be will we be seeing you for the Bears?
Yes, I've got to get into high gear to get some things because I'm supposed to be bringing some food and cooking today for you all.
So yeah, my wife. I gotta. Yeah, exactly. So let's go ahead and end this so I can help out getting everything ready for this game. Thank you all for joining us today. Like I said, please tune in for the fantasy show tomorrow night, the main Bear shows, to talk about a Bears victory, hopefully, with the main guys. So again, thank you all for joining us. And
tune in tomorrow for the fantasy football hour.
Yes, sir. And remember, y'all, be good. And if you can't be good, well, hell, at least be good at it.
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production.